Now I want to turn things over to Bethany to share a little bit about economic development and business and industry in the county. Thank you for joining us, Bethany.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure. And good morning, everyone. So as a 2010 graduate of Leadership Medina County, I can honestly say that Business and Industry Day has been my favorite day of the program for over a decade now. Of course, I might be a little bit biased because in my job as the Executive Director of Medina County Economic Development, I get to spend every day working with the businesses in our county, which are so integral to the fabric of our society. Today, you're going to get the chance to tour a variety of companies in a number of different industries, from manufacturing to construction, from retail to insurance. And if you're really lucky and got that spot, you'll get to hang out in an entertainment venue that is part of the county's tourism industry. Because of the limitations obviously imposed by COVID, you won't all visit the same companies, but hopefully you'll have the chance to share what you saw with your classmates and the stories that you heard from some amazing entrepreneurs. So my talk this morning is to help set the stage for the day and to provide some context so that you can understand the importance of our business and industrial base in Medina County. Just like our healthcare workers and educators, our business community has been on the front line this year, working hard to keep their doors open and provide great jobs for our citizens. Before we take a bit of a dive into what makes up Medina County's industrial base, I wanted to give you a little background on our organization so you know how our economic development efforts influence the local economy. Medina County Economic Development was formed in 1989 as a collaborative effort of private sector companies, chambers of commerce, and public sector officials. Our mission is to impact the economic footprint of Medina County, which we do in a variety of ways. We market Medina County as a place to do business. We work to attract new businesses here. We help our existing business base to grow by providing access to resources and assistance. And we call that business retention. And we also grow new businesses by supporting entrepreneurs and their efforts. So to accomplish this mission, we use a number of tools such as negotiating property tax abatements and small business loans. And we also partner with city-level economic developers who have job creation grants, among other tools. Our office is also the liaison to an organization called Team NEO, which is the regional economic development group representing Jobs Ohio, which provides incentives from the state, such as workforce grants or low-interest financing. Our organization also serves as the administrator for the Medina County Port Authority, which can offer exemptions on sales tax on construction materials for brand new buildings. This tool has actually had a very significant impact on Medina County's economy over the past 5 years. Just looking at the data, the Port Authority provided financing for nearly a dozen companies, which have invested nearly $355 million in new construction projects, retained 3,200 jobs, and created 672 new jobs. So it's a pretty powerful tool. But incentives aren't the only reason that a company chooses to expand in a particular community. Workforce and talent is another major factor. We hear it all the time when we meet with companies, and we talk to over 200 businesses each year. We hear that Medina County's workforce is fantastic. They're reliable, skilled, and have a great work ethic. But one of our problems has been our historically low unemployment rate. And normally you wouldn't think that's a problem unless you're in my industry. Medina County finished out last year with an unemployment rate of 3.0% in December 2019. When I studied economics, we were taught that an unemployment rate of 5% represented full employment in our economy. Everyone who wanted a job had a job, and the rest were just in transition. So with such a low number of people traditionally looking for work in Medina County, we know that that's a problem for businesses, and we have been working diligently over the past decade to address this workforce issue head on. We're focusing on two fronts. We're building a pipeline of young workers to ensure that we have long-term talent that is staying in Medina County, and we're helping companies find people now to fill current job openings. Our education committee, for example, We serve as the Business Advisory Council to 6 school districts and the Education Service Center of Medina County. And that group brings together business leaders and educators on a monthly basis. A current effort is underway called Own Your Skill. It's a campaign to help students identify the skills they've developed through hobbies and extracurricular activities like athletics, gaming, maybe music. And then we educate them about the types of jobs they could land, jobs which value those skills. One of our other initiatives is called Work Local. We host a website, worklocal.net. That website has job listings specific to Medina County. And our target for that website are those people who live in Medina County who drive to jobs outside our borders. It's amazing to me that 69% of the county residents in the workforce actually leave here for work when there are so many great job openings that we're finding out about based on our conversations with expanding companies. So looking at the weekly unemployment claims data as of October 3rd, there are just over 3,600 people in Medina County on unemployment. Now, that's down from a high of 11,500 back in on April 25th, when the stay-at-home order was still in effect. So that tells me that our economy is definitely kicking back into high gear. We have a little ways to go. Normally in any given month, at least in the past couple of years, we only have about 1,000 people in unemployment. So we do have a lot of people to put back to work. And our current unemployment rate is 7.6%, but it has dropped drastically since its peak of 21.1% in April. So let's take a deeper dive into Medina County's economy to shed some light on what business and industry looks like in our community. I'm going to share this information with Colleen so she can send it out to anyone who is a data junkie like me. So I did some research with the U.S. Census Bureau, and they published information about the county's business base down to the zip code level. But for today, we're going to look at the County Business Patterns Report and on a countywide basis for Medina County. So I'm using 2018 data that was just released this June, and it shows that there are 3,983 business establishments in Medina County, and they employ 54,928 people, so paid employees. Now, obviously, there are a lot of companies which they may be a single person consultant and they don't really have any paid employees. So obviously we have many more registered businesses in Medina County, but those are the 3,983 businesses who have paid employees. So breaking that number down into industrial sectors and then counting the number of business establishments, we can see that retail is the largest sector in Medina County's economy. They have nearly 12% of all of our businesses. This is followed by construction at 11.7%, professional and technical services at 10.7%, other services at 10.2%, healthcare is at 8.9%, and then we have hospitality and food services. They represent 8.1% of all of the business establishments in Medina County. So manufacturing trails those industries. They have 277 companies with paid employees. And that represents 6.9% of the businesses in Medina County. So it might not seem terribly impressive. And you might ask, why are we spending so much time in the economic development world on manufacturing? The answer is because manufacturing is the sector with the most employees in Medina County and the highest wages, and it has the most impact on all of our other industries. Interestingly, looking back to data from 2015, that same County Business Patterns Report, retail was the sector with the most employees in Medina County. But by 2018, that number had dropped by 5.6%, while manufacturing employment increased by 10.2%. And so now we have just over 9,600 jobs in the manufacturing sector. So I suspect that we're seeing the very real impact from changing consumer shopping habits from in-person retail to online shopping. So for those of us who have gleefully participated in Amazon Prime Day, that's a pretty stark reminder that those choices have consequences in our own backyards. and I will have more on that in a moment. But for now, let's think about the importance of manufacturing jobs. Using 2019 data originally published by the Bureau of Labor Statistics, we know that the manufacturing employment has a high multiplier effect. That means in addition to the jobs created directly by a manufacturer, a large number of other jobs are also supported by that industry. For example, an automobile manufacturer, they not only make cars, but they depend on the parts that are made by, say, tire makers, companies making glass for windshields, or the nuts and bolts that hold a frame together, not to mention suppliers of paints and chemicals. And so we call those backward linkages in the supply chain of a product. Going forward, once a manufacturer pays wages to their workers on a local basis, and then all of those, they also pay all of those other suppliers who pay wages to their employees, those people spend money on housing, healthcare, restaurants, and other retail. So what does the multiplier for manufacturing look like? A 2019 study shows that for every one direct job created by a manufacturer of durable goods, there are 7.4 jobs created in the economy. Durable goods are things like washing machines and cars and furniture, things like that. The multiplier for non-durable manufacturing, basically, food that you eat, things that don't last a long time. The multiplier for non-durable manufacturing is lower. It's at 5.1%, but it's still impressive. Those multipliers work in reverse as well. For every manufacturing job lost, there are between 5 and 7 other jobs that are lost in our economy as well. But right now, the state of manufacturing in Medina County is quite healthy, even despite headlines that you've probably seen about a few companies that are moving production jobs elsewhere out of the county. In fact, we have been working with a number of manufacturers this year who are so desperate for employees that I suspect those downsized workers will be snapped up pretty quickly, both skilled and unskilled labor. So looking back again at the county business patterns data, the 9,600 jobs in manufacturing represent 17.5% of all paid employees in Medina County. So if you'll recall, the percent of manufacturers in the economy, only 6.9% of the businesses, but they represent 17.5% of the employment in Medina County. In terms of business sectors, retail follows. They have about 8,465 jobs, and then healthcare below that at 7,328 jobs. So that data shows that manufacturing continues to be the industry in Medina County that pays the highest wages. As of 2018, the annual payroll of manufacturing establishments in Medina County totaled over $500 million, $525.1 million in wages are being circulated in Medina County because of our manufacturing industry. So if we look at the data per employee, the average wage of all of those business establishments in the county is 43,200 jobs. Manufacturing pays 26.5% higher than that average. Manufacturing jobs pay an average wage of nearly $54,700. There are 4 other industry sectors with higher average wages than manufacturing. That includes construction, wholesale trade, finance and insurance, and then company management. So the top average wage, which is for employees working in the management of companies and enterprises, that wage is nearly $103,000. So that's a lot of money being circulated in our county. And keeping that money local is critical to helping other industries like retail and restaurants stay healthy and ensure that Medina County companies continues to offer an excellent quality of life. Just looking at what has happened with our retail industry during this past year as a result of the pandemic and then the shutdown this spring, there were a number of business support organizations which wanted to do something to help small companies survive. So in collaboration with a number of public officials at our cities, our chambers of commerce, our Main Street programs around Medina County, we developed a program to directly address the need to increase consumer spending and to help get people back to work. We call it Vocal for Local, putting our money where our mouth is, because everything has to have a tagline. So that social media promotional campaign has been designed to showcase our locally owned small businesses. So we have a Vocal for Local website, which is vocalforlocalmedinacounty.com. And on that website, consumers can read about Medina County's local businesses through company profiles. There are directories of businesses in each community, and we also provide tips for shopping safely. This past summer, June 20th, was designated Vocal for Local Day, and we encourage Medina County residents to shop locally on that Saturday. We saw 6,000 people access the Facebook page that day, and that information has continued to be updated. So check it out and shop local, even while you're buying your Amazon Prime deals. Getting back to manufacturing in Medina County, I wanted to just touch on how they handled the shutdown. As I was working on my remarks yesterday, I received an email with this subject line: COVID-19 disrupted everything, but not Ohio manufacturing. And so for Medina County, I would definitely have to agree with that, but I would have some caveats. Particularly at the onset of the shutdown, we did have a number of manufacturers who laid off workers, not only because of COVID safety concerns, but because supply chains had been disrupted. And there were some orders that had been delayed or dried up. There are also industries in Medina County who have been just devastated by COVID-19 because the consumer demand for their products and services is just gone, and it may not return for a very long time. I'm thinking particularly about companies who serve the travel and meeting and trade show industries, as well as live entertainment. But our economic development team in Medina County is piloting a program with experienced business consultants who are volunteering their time to work with those kinds of companies and help them identify new markets and new products they can sell to. We can't just let those businesses fade away when they have an incredible depth of human talent and physical assets. They have buildings and machinery, and they can redeploy those to new opportunities. That's what the business retention aspect of economic development is all about. But with the exception of a few industry areas, I would say that the disruption to Medina County's manufacturing base caused by COVID-19, it feels like a very short blip. It seems like we had about 2 weeks when companies were reeling from the shutdown orders. But once those manufacturers had made the necessary safety adjustments according to the state's Responsible Restart Ohio plan, they've come back to work. And now, after a summer of just increasing activity, many companies cannot find enough workers to produce what they need to do to fill the orders on their backlogs. Some companies during the shutdown and the ensuing months, they were fortunate enough to already be in the business of manufacturing personal protective equipment, or they converted their operations very quickly to producing PPE such as masks, protective gowns, or hand sanitizer. Other companies, other manufacturers that have done really well in the wake of COVID-19, they're making in-demand consumer products for lots of people who are now working on home improvement projects because they're just not going out and spending their money on things like sports and movies. The number of business expansion projects that our office is currently working on could realistically land another 500 new jobs in Medina County, with those announcements being made in the next few months. We're seeing interest in every corner of the county, geographically speaking, and we just don't seem to have enough building inventory to satisfy the demands of the growing businesses that we're hearing from. Land is being purchased and developed at a rate faster than I can recall in my 12 years here, not only for commercial and industrial expansions, but for new residential projects as well. New housing starts are good for our construction industry and, of course, for manufacturers of consumer products. So I am optimistic that Medina County is going to weather this current economic storm quite well, as I have seen our community do in past recessions. We have some very talented business owners and plant managers at the helm, and they are determined to not only survive, but to thrive. So I hope you enjoy getting to know some of these people during your business and industry day tours, and hopefully you'll come away impressed and amazed by the wonderful companies we have here in Medina County. So I hope you all have a great day.
Thank you so much, Bethany. Wow. What you can do in a half an hour, it just amazes me what you were able to go over. We do have a few minutes. Just wanted to see if there were any questions, so you can pop those questions into the Q&A if you do have a question for Bethany this morning. I also just sent out some text to anyone going to Rulin today. Apparently, I misunderstood the email from Rulin yesterday. I thought it was only lunch at the Galaxy, but they are moving their entire presentation to the Galaxy. So you will have your presentation for Rulin. If you're on a tour for Rulin, look for a text from me. That will happen at the Galaxy in the wine room. Okay. I don't believe there's any wine involved, but but you can ask Dawn about that when you arrive. So if you have any questions, let me know about that. But if you are going to Rulin today, the tour is being changed to a presentation at the Galaxy. And that's because of construction happening at Rulin right now. So they had to readjust very quickly. I don't see any questions in Q&A, so I think you fulfilled every data junkie's wish this morning, Bethany, as you said earlier. I love what you said about redeploying those assets for new opportunities. That was really neat. And it was good to hear about the manufacturing in our community and how they're doing. So I can't wait for the class also to go out today, and I'm looking forward to all of you. And as Bethany said, I just want to reiterate, share those stories from today. Not all of your classmates are going to be able to go to the same location that you're visiting today. So it's essential that you share those stories with them to make our plan work today. So if you have any questions, again, text me and head out to your first location and have a wonderful day. Thank you.